There are days when nothing big happens, yet the heart suddenly feels strangely heavy. Just a single careless word from someone, a slightly unusual expression on someone's face, a message sent and not replied to as quickly as usual. These things seem so small that we tell ourselves we should not care. And yet inside, a tightness appears in the chest. The mind keeps circling back to that moment and asking countless questions. Why did I feel like that? Am I being too sensitive? Is something wrong with me? We keep pretending to be strong in front of the world. We keep smiling. We keep working. But deep inside, an invisible unease is quietly consuming us, as if the whole body is bracing itself against a wave no one else can see. And what exhausts us most is not what happens outside, but the stories continuously unfolding in the mind. In Buddhist teachings, this state is called the veil of ignorance. Not ignorance because we lack knowledge, but because we have not truly seen the nature of our emotions and situations. Just the smallest shift can shake our hearts. But when a feeling of discomfort appears, it is not a sign that we are weak. It is a gentle reminder that something inside us is asking to be seen more clearly. And the very moment we recognize that is the beginning of inner freedom. When we begin to wonder why small things can disturb our inner peace so easily, Buddhism invites us to look deeper into the true nature of life. The Buddha pointed out three fundamental truths. They are not beliefs we must memorize, but realities we can see for ourselves in every moment of living. The first truth is impermanence, known as anicca. No emotion stays forever. Joy eventually changes. Discomfort eventually fades. People, circumstances, relationships, even who we think we are, all transform from moment to moment. Yet we insist that things remain the same as we wish. This clinging is what causes our hearts to ache every time life shifts even slightly. The second truth is dukkha. Suffering does not come from the world, but from holding on to what cannot be held. We want others to always care. We want every word to be gentle. We want today to feel exactly like yesterday. And when our expectations are not met, dissatisfaction arises. It is not someone or something outside that hurts us, but the image we create in our own mind. The third truth is anatta. We often believe there is a solid self experiencing and reacting to life. But when we observe closely, everything about this self changes. Thoughts change. Emotions change. Roles in life change. So where is this fixed self? It is not as concrete as we assume. It is simply an ongoing flow of body and mind. When we recognize these three truths, we begin to soften toward whatever is happening. We no longer need to fight to make everything match our desires. Instead, we learn to see life as a river that never stops moving, and every drop of water passing by carries its own meaning. When we understand that life is always changing and the self is only an endless flow, we begin to have enough courage to look inside whenever emotions arise. Because what hurts us is not what happens, but how our mind responds to it. And that response does not appear out of nowhere. It is formed through a chain of events that unfolds very quickly and very subtly. Imagine a familiar situation. Someone says something that bothers you. In that exact moment, the first thing that comes is not a thought but a physical sensation. Perhaps the face heats up, the heartbeat quickens, the shoulders tense. The body always reacts before the mind. Then thoughts follow. They are looking down on me. They do not respect me. They do not care about me like before. Next comes the urge to act. You want to speak back. You want to defend yourself. You want to prove something. And then the reaction bursts out. Words fly out. Expression changes. You walk away or fall into a cold silence. Only when everything has passed do you wonder how just one small sentence managed to shake your peace so deeply. The Buddha explained that true freedom lies in the moment between these links. When we do not recognize this chain, everything happens like a storm that sweeps us away before we even notice. We become someone dragged around by our own emotions and thoughts. But when we see each step forming inside, we know we have a choice. We do not have to speak words that hurt others. We do not have to believe the thought that just appeared in our mind. We can pause even if only for a single breath. And that breath opens the door to freedom. The breath is where body and mind meet. Just 1 second of returning to the breath slows the whole chain down. Instead of immediately reacting with sharp words, we can observe the feeling rising. Instead of believing the idea that we are being insulted, we can notice that it is just a line of text appearing in the mind, not an absolute truth. And when we recognize that, the urge to act becomes weaker. We no longer need to react from old habits. We can choose a response that brings healing, a gentler response. A little light of awareness is enough to shake the mountain of ignorance in a single moment. We realize we are not the victims of our emotions. We are the ones who observe them. Not everything that happens in the mind needs to become an action. We can allow things to arise and fade away without interference. And that ability is true self-mastery. Each time you notice that this inner chain of reactions is unfolding, you have already taken a great step on the path of freeing yourself from suffering. You are no longer controlled by the world outside. A single sentence, a glance, or a small change no longer has the power to take away your peace. Because now you know that freedom lies in the very moment you clearly see what is happening inside yourself. When we observe the chain of reactions within us, we begin to see an important truth. There are two kinds of pain that appear in our lives. The Buddha called them the two arrows. The first arrow is the unavoidable pain. A word that hurts us. A relationship that ends. A loved one who leaves this world. The body aging and falling ill. These are the nature of life. No one can escape them. Pain is natural, just as rain will fall when the clouds are full of water. But it is the second arrow that truly exhausts us. It is the story we create inside the mind about that pain. A relationship ends and we immediately believe we are not good enough. Someone says something and we assume they no longer care about us. We turn one difficult moment into a harsh judgment against ourselves. We are not only hurt by what is happening, we are hurt by what we imagine. For example, when a love story closes, the first arrow is grief and longing, but the second arrow says we are unworthy of love, that we will never find happiness again, that our life has been ruined. And so the suffering doubles, not because the loss is too big, but because the story in the mind is too cruel. The beautiful truth is that the second arrow is not inevitable. It only appears when we do not see the story we are telling ourselves. When we see clearly that a thought is just a thought, sadness is just sadness, we can stop ourselves before firing another arrow into our own heart. Instead of saying I am suffering, we can speak more gently. Pain is present here. Sadness is passing through this heart. By changing our perspective in this way, we no longer imprison ourselves inside a tragic narrative. We preserve the compassion we deserve to offer ourselves. Pain is something no one can avoid. But we have the right not to turn that pain into a lifelong sentence. We can let pain touch us and then allow it to leave, without letting it destroy the peace within us. And that is the very first freedom on the path of healing. On the journey of life, each of us must face the winds that blow from the world. The Buddha called them the 8 worldly winds: gain and loss, praise and blame, pleasure and pain, fame and disrepute. They come and go like the breath of the universe. Sometimes they lift us high into the sky. Sometimes they throw us down into the depths of self-doubt. And we suffer because we believe our worth depends entirely on these winds. When someone praises us, we bloom like a flower under sunlight. We think we are doing well. When someone criticizes us, the heart tightens. We think we are failing. Just one sentence can unsettle us, because we are clinging to a fragile sense of self. A self that always wants validation. A self that fears rejection. A self that worries that if others do not love us, then we are not lovable. But if we look more closely, we will see that the pleasant feeling from praise or the discomfort from criticism are simply temporary waves in the mind. They come and they go. None of these feelings are who we are. They are only experiences passing through. We do not need to turn them into our identity. When we cling to praise, we fear losing it. When we cling to criticism, we fear it is true. And in that fear, we lose our inner freedom. You are not the emotion rising in this moment. You are not the judgments of others. You are the vast sky that can hold both a gentle breeze and a fierce storm without being harmed. When you recognize this, the 8 worldly winds may still blow, but they no longer have the power to carry you away. People may praise or blame, love or dislike, yet you remain peaceful within, because you understand that your worth does not lie in the eyes of others, but in the clarity within your own heart. When we are no longer swept away by the 8 worldly winds, we begin to see more clearly what is unfolding inside our minds. Thoughts and emotions arise continuously like clouds drifting across the sky. They are always changing. When joy appears, it feels like the soft warmth of the morning sun. When sadness comes, it arrives like a sudden storm. And because we believe they are who we are, we become controlled by them. Yet if you can observe a thought, then you are not that thought. If you can see an emotion rising, then you are not trapped inside that emotion. Thoughts are simply mental events created by memory, habit, and the conditions of the present moment. They are not absolute truths. They are temporary stories the mind tells about the world and about yourself. The Buddha taught that when a feeling arises, gently name it. This is sadness present here. This is worry passing through. This is anger. This is fear. By doing so, you create a small space between you and the emotion. That space is where you stand firmly. It is where you remember that you are the one observing every movement in the mind, not the movements themselves. A rain shower cannot harm the sky. A storm of emotions cannot destroy the peaceful nature within you. When thoughts become too heavy, try seeing them like clouds. They will pass. When emotions rise intensely, remember that they are like a gust of wind. It may blow fiercely for a moment, but soon it will fade. Inner freedom does not lie in forcing thoughts away or making the mind completely empty. Freedom is knowing that even with thoughts present, they no longer rule you. You understand that you are always the vast sky behind every change. Emotions come and go. Thoughts come and go. But your awareness and presence remain. Still steady, still yourself, never distorted by any storm. When we understand that thoughts and emotions are just fleeting weather, a new door opens for us to enter life more fully. Instead of being carried away by the past and future, we learn to return to this very moment, the moment where life is truly happening. And mindfulness is the gentle act of recognizing everything that is present. We can begin with the most ordinary things. When walking, know you are walking. Feel the feet touching the ground. The shifting of weight from one step to the next. When eating, know you are eating. Feel the taste of the food, the movement of the jaw, the stream of nourishment feeding every cell of the body. When washing dishes, know you are washing dishes. Warm water on the hands. The reflection of light on the surface of the plate becoming clean. Even small sounds become more alive. When working, know you are working. Notice whether the mind is focused or wandering. Recognize the tension in your shoulders and soften it with one deep breath. Every action can become meditation if the mind stays with what the body is doing instead of running off somewhere else. We simply do one thing at a time. No multitasking, no letting the mind scatter across hundreds of things that have not happened yet. Give your full presence to what is right in front of you. The miracle is that when we are truly present, ordinary life becomes magical. Just a glass of water can refresh the soul. Just a gentle breeze can open the heart. We start to see that peace does not need to be searched for in distant places. It has always been here, waiting for us to pause and notice it. Mindfulness does not take us away from life. It helps us step deeper into life with clearer eyes and a more open heart. Every moment of awareness is a moment we reclaim the power over our own lives. A little less suffering, a little less being pulled by the world, and a little more peace growing quietly day by day within the heart. When everything in life is still peaceful, staying mindful may feel quite easy, but the real challenge appears when life suddenly changes. When a loved one is gone forever. When the work you poured your heart into collapses in an instant. When a relationship you once believed was forever suddenly comes to an end. In those moments, the heart shakes like a small boat caught in great waves. The pain feels incredibly real. No one can deny that. And no one can tell you to be cheerful while your heart is bleeding. The Buddha did not teach us to ignore pain. He taught us to look at it directly with gentleness. Pain is natural. Pain means you have loved something deeply. Pain is a sign that your heart is still alive and capable of feeling. So when the storm arrives, you do not need to pretend to be strong. You can acknowledge that you are hurting, and at the same time remind yourself that pain is not the whole of who you are. A storm is never the sky. It only passes through the sky. In the same way, one failure cannot define your entire life. One rejection cannot prove that you are unworthy. One person leaving cannot take away your value. Pain is simply a powerful wave rising, but you are not the wave. You are the vast ocean where waves are born and where they disappear. When a heavy thought appears, such as "I have failed," "I am not loved," "I am alone," try to pause and notice that these are only words appearing in the mind. They are not the ultimate truth. Pain is happening, but I am not the one who is pain. Sadness is present, but I am not this sadness. By placing that small yet powerful distance between you and the emotion, you are no longer drowned by it. You can place a hand over your heart and whisper, "I know this pain is here. I will stay here with it. I will not push it away, and I will not let it become my identity." Just that alone softens the heart, and that softness brings a strength that no storm can destroy. Life will continue to change. Joy will leave. Hardships will arrive, and then they will leave too. But when you see the true nature of every experience, when you know that you are always the open sky, you live in the same world, but your heart is no longer the same. Inside you appears a space of peace that no circumstance can touch. If you have listened this far, perhaps you are ready to choose a new way of living. A way of someone who no longer chases or hides from the waves of life. Someone who understands that peace does not mean the absence of storms. Peace means standing steady through them all. Thank you for spending this moment here with me. Each day you return to this breath, to this present moment, you are rewriting your own story. A story no longer centered around fear and defense, but around clarity, compassion, and inner freedom. May you always see clearly who you are and live fully with every breath of your life.